Hello everyone, my name is Vaishali Chirsagar from Biology Department, Sanjuni Junior College, Kopara. I would like to welcome you all on the behalf of Sanjuni College. My subject is Biology, and as you all know that this is our today's first session. So, before going to start about our syllabus, I would like to share some basics about the subject Biology. What is biology? Biology is the term those derived from two Greek words. One is bios and other is logis. Bios means life and logis means study. So, the science or the branch of science which deals with the study of life is called as biology. On earth, there are two different types of life forms mainly exist. Those are visible to the naked eyes. One of them is plant and other is animals. Study of plant is called as botany and study of animals is called as zoology. So biology is the science or a branch of science which deals with study of plants and animals. As you all know that biology is multidisciplinary science. So the varieties of aspects related with the plants and animals are contributes the different branches of biology. Which are they? I would like to discuss here. The first one is microbiology, the study of microorganisms. In it, it's called as microbiology. Next one is taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Taxos means arrangement and means by following certain rules or principles. This taxonomy is again Greek word, and this taxonomy deals with identification, nomenclature, classification of different types of organisms by developing and utilizing certain taxonomical aids. Which are they? We will going to study in the first chapter itself. Next branch is morphology. What is meant by morphology? The external appearance when we study of any organism, then that branch is called as morphology. Next one is anatomy. When we study the internal organization of any organ, plant organ or animal organ, then they are called as anatomy. Then what is meant by genetics? Is a branch of biology which deals with the study of heredity and variations. What is meant by heredity? It is very simple phenomenon, but as itself, it is simple, but it has some basic complicated aspects. In this branch, we will study how the characters inherited from parent to offspring. What is the reason behind the similarities we observe among the offspring with their parents also. Then the next branch of biology is called as paleontology. Actually, it is not the branch of biology, but it has equal importance in biology. It is basically the branch of geology. This branch deals with the study of past life. Those life is not exist today. Those are vanished or extinct. But they are present in the past. So when we study the past life, with the help of their remnants in earth crust, we call them fossils. That branch is called as paleontology. This branch is very useful to trace out the evolutionary trend, to find out the connecting link between today's organism and those are not exist today. How the evolution takes place, how the life becomes more and more complicated. We will going to study in this branch, that is paleontology. Next one is ecology. When we study the interrelationship of living beings with their surroundings, their habitations, then that branch is called as ecology. Next is a physiology. When we study the functions of internal vital organs or involuntary organs or internal organs, then that branch is called as physiology. Next is the embryology. When we study the embryonic development of any organisms, they are called as embryology. Cytology. When we study the structure and functions related with the cell, they are called as cytology. Not last, but the today's session, that is evolution. What is evolution? Evolution is a branch of biology which deals with the study of origin of life and how the life get complicated from simplicity to complexity. This branch is called as evolution. Now I would like to discuss some career options related with subject biology. For example, agronomy. Agronomy is the science which deals with the production of crops and management of crops. Anthropology. This science deals with study of physical, cultural and social development of humans. This science, that is bioinformatics, it is actually the collaboration of biology with the information technology. This science assesses the information technologies and their different techniques to develop the softwares related with the biological knowledge. Biomedical engineering. In this science, there is a production of artificial body organs as well as there is a development of different types of life supportive machineries such as dialysis machine, ventilator, X-ray machines, etc. Biotechnology. Biotechnology deals with rearing of microorganisms for the production of economically important substances. This technology also deals with fermentation. Next one, genetic engineering. This is the art of manipulating the genetic material of organisms and make them genetically modified, such as GM crops, genetically modified animals or transgene animals, as well as transgene microorganisms. Next one is medicine. This science deals with, this option deals with treating the diseases and curating the diseases by utilizing the curative substances or different drugs or medicines. Then pharmacy. Pharmacy deals with the preparation of different types of medicines. There also deals with dispensing the medicines as per the prescription of the medical practitioners. Next science is a physiotherapy. Physiotherapy, in which by utilizing the certain medicines, remedies, exercise practices, it deals with curating the physical disorders. Fisheries. Culturing, rearing, capturing of different fishes and aquatic animals are called as fisheries. Forensic science. This science deals with application of biological knowledge to question the criminals and laws. Horticulture. Science deals with the production of different types of plants by cutting, budding, grafting. Those are economically important. Poultry science deals with rearing of poultry birds for economic purpose. Microbiology. This science deals with the study of microorganisms, their structures and functions, and their uses and effects. Next is the molecular biology. This science deals with study of molecular aspects of the body or the life. So here these are some career options related to the subject biology. But many more still remains. Those are also possible by studying this subject since from your 11th standard. Hope you all are quite confident about what is biology, different branches of biology and related career options. Now I would like to start syllabus of our 11th science. The first unit, title of first unit is Diversity in Living World. In this unit, we have to study the 4 different chapters and altogether that 4 chapter carries 14% weightage in NEET syllabus. Chapter first, title is The Living World. Chapter second, Systematics and Classification. Chapter 3, Kingdom Planting, and the fourth one, Kingdom Animalia. This 4th chapter contributes together 14% weightage in our NEET syllabus. Now we will focus on the first chapter, The Living World. When we observe Earth planet is made up of two different types of components. They are animate and unanimate. Animate means biotic components. And unanimate means abiotic factors. Biotic component itself called as living organisms. And abiotic means non-living objects. When Earth evolved, Earth exists, which is the first form of life. That first form of life is actually the connecting link between living organisms and non-living organisms, and they are called as viruses. Viruses are the intermediate or connecting link between living and non-living objects. How? Because viruses follows the properties like non-living object. They are particulate form. Their body is not made up of cell. There is no any enzymatic action in their body. They remains inert or inactive in outer world. As soon as they enter any living cell, then only they start multiplying. Means in outer world they remains inactive, acellular, without any cellular organization, metabolic activities. So they are like non-living objects. But when they infect the any living organisms, then they multiply. As they increase their number, this property of viruses is like that of the living. So viruses is considered as the connecting link between non-living objects and the living organisms. In this chapter, the first point we have to discuss here is what is the life or what is the livings. There are some fundamental features of life. Those help to distinguish the living organisms from non-living objects. Among that, first one we are going to discuss here is a cellular body organization. What is meant by cellular body organization? Cellular body organization means the body of living organism is made up of cell. Either they are unicellular or multicellular. But the living body is always made up of cell. So, cellular body organization, without any exception, is the defining property of life. Non-living object does not show any cellular organization. It is seen only in living organisms. So, without any exception, cellular body organization is considered as defining property of livings. Those are not seen in non-living object, and they can easily distinguish the livings from the non-living object. Second property or fundamental features of life or livings, those help to distinguish the livings from non-living object, is the metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism means some total of changes takes place in the cell or the body. Some total of changes or chemical reactions takes place in the cell or the body. It's called as metabolism. In a broad sense, metabolism are of two types. In a broad sense, metabolism are of two types: anabolism and catabolism. What is meant by anabolism? When synthesis of different chemicals in the cell of the body, they are called as anabolism. synthesis of chemical substances like carbohydrate, fats, proteins, etc. in the cell or the body is called as anabolism. This anabolism consumes energy. It consumes energy. If same type of substances was synthesized in the body, it oxidized. That phenomenon is called as catabolism. So what is meant by catabolism? It's exactly opposite to the anabolism. In this chemical reaction, chemical substances oxidize or broken down and to liberate energy. Due to the various activities, this part of the metabolism is called as catabolism. So in this manner, some total of chemical reaction, whether the production of different biomolecules such as carbohydrate, fats, proteins, or their oxidation and liberate their energy to do the various activities. Such a type of chemical conversions when takes place in any living system, that phenomenon is called as metabolism. Metabolism is also observed or possible in cell-free system. But for the cell, there is a need of human interference. Unless and until human interference is there in non-living things or in physical component, metabolism is not possible. Naturally, it is possible only in living organisms. So, metabolism easily distinguishes the living beings from non-living objects, and metabolism is considered as the defining property of life without any exception. Next one is sensitivity, consciousness or irritability. This is the defining property of life or living organisms without any exceptions, because non-living object never responds. Living objects always responds. What exactly it means? Means any living organisms, whether it is plant, animal or microbes, they are having a tendency to receive the stimuli from their surroundings and respond to that stimuli. That stimuli may be chemical stimulus, thermal stimulus, physical stimulus like touch, temperature, phonostimuli, light sensitivity means photostimuli. So such a type of changes, those takes place around us. The living object always respond to them. So ability of the livings to respond to the surrounding stimuli or the changes is called as sensitivity or consciousness, or also called as irritability. Such a type of responding ability is not found in the non-living object. Henceforth, this consciousness is also considered to be the defining feature of life. So up to these, we discussed three defining features of life. Those are only seen in living beings and not seen in the non-living objects. They are: first, having cellular body organization; second, the metabolic changes takes place in the cell, that is metabolism, and ability to respond to the different stimuli, those arises from the surroundings, that is sensitivity or consciousness. Next, fundamental features of life is growth. Growth is a feature of life, but it is not the defining property of life, because it is controversial. We observe the growth in both living organisms as well as non-living organisms. So now we focus here growth observed in livings as well as growth observed in non-living beings. In case of livings, growth is intrinsic. It means the growth observed because of cell division, and this growth is called as true growth. This growth is the permanent, irreversible change or changes takes place in the size, shape, weight of the organ or organism. It is irreversible. So in this manner, when we observe the growth in living organism, it is always intrinsic. It is internal, and it is possible just because of increasing cell number, means cell division. Increases the cell number, and because of that, changes observed in the shape, size, and weight of the organism. And these changes are always permanent changes. They are not reverse. So this is universal direction, and this growth is called as intrinsic or true growth. We observe in living organisms. When we discuss in detail about some important features of growth, then that is important for your competitive examination. When we see the growth in plant, growth are of two types: limited and unlimited. We also call them definite and indefinite. We observe the definite growth in certain organs like leaves, fruits, flowers. Always grows with a definite shape and size. After that, their growth gets ceases. But in case of certain organ like the root and stem, the growth is not limited or definite. It is continually growing until and unless the organ is ceasing the cell division, the growth takes place. So it is unlimited. So growth found in the root stem like organ, it is unlimited or indefinite. In case of leaves, fruits, flower, the growth is limited or we call them definite. When we focus on the growth observed in animals, the growth is always definite. The growth is always definite. Up to certain time of age, the growth observed, the organ responding to the cell division. Beyond that, they never responds and the growth ceases, and the phenomenon is called as aging. So in this manner, whether it is limited or unlimited growth or definite or indefinite growth, this growth is observed in living organism. It is just because of cell division. It is true. It is permanent, irreversible change in shape, size, and this growth is called as true growth. It only because of internal things, internal factors, that is cell division. Next, when we focus on the growth observed in non-living object, non-livings, we observe the growth in them also, but that growth is extrinsic, or they are called as false growth. This growth is called as false growth, extrinsic, or they are called as false growth, because this growth is not because of cell division. This growth is not a permanent. This is, they may reverse. They may reverse the change. the change in their shape size. It may called as growth, but that is just because of deposition of the particulate matter on external surfaces. It is not because of any internal change. And whenever the summer is there, ice get melts, so height get decrease. So in this manner, increase or decrease in the shape and size just because of deposition of the particulate matter we observe in non-living object also. That is also called as growth, but that is false growth. But as we observe the changes or growth in both living and non-living object, so growth is considered as a feature of life, but it is not the defining feature of life. Those we discussed earlier, like that, growth is not the defining feature of life because it has an exception. After the growth, the next feature of life, those distinguish the life from non-living object is the reproduction. What is meant by reproduction? Ability to produce their own kinds is called as reproduction. Like beget like process is called as reproduction. What is the purpose of reproduction? For the perpetuation of the species or for increases the number of members of the particular species, for existence of the species generation after generation, the reproduction is proceeded. Reproduction is the feature of life. Non-living object never follows the reproduction, but still it is not defining property of life. Even though the reproduction found only in livings and not in non-living organism, reproduction is not considered as the defining feature of life. When we observe the modes of reproduction, there are two modes of reproduction: asexual and sexual mode of reproduction. Asexual reproduction again of different types, like fission, fragmentation, budding, germination or sporulation, and in case of higher plant, vegetative propagation. These are the different modes of asexual reproduction. With the help of which animals can multiply asexually or plants can multiply asexually. In case of higher plants and animals, there is always the sexual mode of reproduction is called as sexual reproduction, in which sex cell or called gametes are produced. Gametes, unites, produces the zygote. Zygote develop into embryo. Embryo further becomes a fetus. In this manner, the sexual reproduction takes place to increase the number of their own kind. This feature is followed only by living organisms and it is not seen in non-living objects. So it is the feature of life, but still it is not defining feature of life. How? Because certain living organisms are there, they are sterile, they are unable to reproduce because of certain reproductive organs related disorders. Still they have in life, they are unable to give birth to the young ones. So because of such exception, the reproduction, even though seen in only livings and they are the feature of life, but it is not considered to be the defining feature of life. So in this manner, as per the need point of view, how many defining features of life we discussed today? Only three. First is cellular body organization. Without an exception, it is seen only in living beings and it easily distinguishes the living from non-living organisms. Second features we discuss, those easily distinguish the livings from non-living, is a metabolism. Third defining feature of life is sensitivity or consciousness. Means ability to respond to the surrounding changes or the stimuli arises from the surroundings. This is also the defining feature without any exception. It was easily distinguish the living from non-living object. After this, we discuss here the two features of life, but they are not defining feature of life. One is growth and second one is reproduction. So in this manner, in today's session, what we discuss will related to the fundamental feature of life, 5 features of life. That is cellular body organization, metabolism, sensitivity. These are the defining feature of life, and growth and reproduction, feature of life, but they are not the defining feature of life.